I'm Jacob.
And this is Tupac. We have done in the past Two Pastors and Culture, right? Does it?
Yes.
But today will be Two Pastors and Corona. I should probably say Two Pastors and Coronavirus, not the other.
Oh yeah, don't
Two
want to
Pastors and Coronas.
set some stuff.
All right. So what I'm going to talk about is, the coronavirus and proper response to the church, and some of my crazy conspiracy theories and get your take on it. All right, we're wearing masks because we're closer than 6 feet. So
Not touching.
yes, nobody
You got
come-
hand sanitizer?
Don't come and arrest us. All right, so it's like I was mentioning earlier, it's the end of the world.
Sounds great.
Not too bad. No, I'm just kidding. So if I had told you a year ago, hey, next year there's going to be a virus and we won't be able to have church maybe 6 months, you'd have thought, what?
I would have thought, well, number one, man, I got to buy some stock in those medical supplies. And number two, that'd be weird, man. That's something that I haven't experienced. I guess no one really has experienced.
Yeah.
I would have thought, cautiously, is this like the beginning of the end or something?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. If I had said, Jacob, in China, now try to think back, 3 months ago, your mentality 3 months ago. If I'd have said in China right now, because there's a threat of a virus, they're not letting anybody go to church, what would you have thought? If I just told you that, now before any of this started, what would you have thought?
Well, I would have thought, it'd been overblown, especially if it's happening, way far away. For a coastal, well, we are coastal, but, like the east or
What would you
west
thought about
coast.
the Chinese government if I said, hey, man, they're not letting anybody go to church. They've stopped.
I would have thought that, that's a sneaky way to,
That's what I'm saying.
cut out what you don't want there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, that's it. We agree. I'm just kidding. I would have thought the same thing too, right? But here I am complying with it. So obviously I don't, in practice, think that I'm completely off the wall or, But I would have thought if someone had said, hey, in China they're not letting people go to church because of a virus, a threat of a virus, I'd have said, well, that's China for you,
Yeah.
But here we are. Now, before we get into the discussion of not coming to church, the virus, protecting our flock, that kind of thing, let me try to make sure I understand. You can correct me if I'm wrong. There's a governor. The governor has put into place like some restrictions, right?
Right.
All right. And then our county judge, Judge Canales, has also put in some kind of
The stay-at-home order.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then of course the recommendation from the federal government.
Right.
Now in Robstown, there's a church that had church, in-person church. We're gonna have to start saying that. There's a church that had in-person church last week, I think, and I won't say the name of it, but they're saying he may be prosecuted.
Oh, wow.
So if you have normal in-person church in our county right now, whatever laws they're using, whatever shelter down order is being violated, in some sense you can be, at least have the threat of prosecution.
Right.
So as of right now, where we live, going to church, having in-person church, can put you in jail. If you had told me that a year ago, I would say if that ever happens, that it's the end of the world, or I overreact a lot of times. So, but that's the reality we live in right now. All right. So now, let me ask you this: right now, we are not having in-person church. We're having streaming services. We're following. We're complying. We're making considerations for our flock. But let me ask you: how long? And this is just an estimation. How long would you be willing to go with not having church the way we have it? Normal church. How long would you be willing to wait?
Yeah, that's hard. You would say, well, I can make this arbitrary line in the sand and say, give a timetable.
Yeah, I know it's arbitrary.
But I think, man, that's tough. I think after a few months, I'm like, well, unless it's a flesh-eating virus or something, we gotta take some kind of chances. Even if we don't meet like we normally did, I would think, I still gotta.
What does that mean?
even if we're not inviting everyone, we, say, guys, just ignore all this stuff. Everyone come back just the way we did.
Okay.
I would say, we still have to have some person talk.
Let me ask you, I'm asking you a series of questions. Oh, but I just dropped my phone. Okay, let's say, and again, right now, we don't know. We haven't seen how this virus. We are trusting what's being told to us. We're caring for our flock. I'm not diminishing anything about this at all. We're taking these precautions. I'm talking about just some things we're speculating about as pastors, some things we're considering, and so don't misunderstand this as demeaning the seriousness of this. We truly don't know exactly how it's all going to play out. So I'm going to ask you a series of hypothetical questions, because you have to balance time and I think the seriousness or the mortality rate, I think, of the disease. Those are the two things you have to keep in balance, because if 50% of the population is dying, well, we won't come back, I don't think, right? So there's a balance there. But let's say I guess internationally, it's hard to say the mortality rate because they don't know everyone that has it. But let's say it's basically the way it is right now in Nueces County, where we don't have any confirmed deaths right now. I don't know what the number are that have been tested.
41 cases, I think.
41 cases, okay, and no deaths. But so let's say it's something like this in 3 months, still with the pressure, the outside threat. In 3 months, however, in our immediate area, no one's died from it. Would you say that 6 months from now, what would be your?
I would feel stuff is kind of staying the same. At least our area, no deaths or anything. 6 months from now, I'd be like, all right, guys, we gotta do something. We can't, because if we're taking this, which I understand is very important, we care about our members certainly, and their families they go home to, but there's a part where you have to say, okay, I'm being cautious, but I can't be cautious of everything forever.
True.
Because I mean, we've used this example before. Well, if number one is saving as many lives or watching out as much as possible, then we all have to stop driving, because that leads to many deaths. And so it's weird. It's that weird, trolley kind of question. What level of?
I got you. No, like I said,
it's
speculating.
Yeah.
I just think of some things we should consider. Here's the thing: starting out from the very baseline level, when the Scripture says, "Forsake not the assembling of yourselves together," that has to mean something. I could go on, but that has to mean something. But obviously, it doesn't mean if the church building is on fire, you have to go. You can't forsake the assembling of yourselves. You've all got to go into the fire because, boom, you know what I mean? So even the most literal wooden interpretation of that verse doesn't mean that if the building presents an immediate danger, to be faithful to it, you have to go into it. So we know that. We agree on that. And that's sort of in the same vein in my conscience that I'm understanding this right now. In some sense, the building's on fire, right? So with that same thinking, I believe that we can have time when we're we're not getting together in person and not be violating that. However, we have to consider, how long does this go on? How long? There's really lots of different issues, and I'm probably going to bounce around some. But let's talk about the importance of in-person worship. I've mentioned this to you before, but I don't think that the author of Hebrews, who I think was Paul, when he said, "Do not forsake the assembling of yourselves together," I don't think he was talking about Wi-Fi. What do you think? You think it could have been Wi-Fi?
I mean, certainly I don't think Paul knew about all that stuff. But I think there is something to say, even, I don't know, it's that weird, I always get reminded of the message is the same, the methods change, but if part of that message seems to me to be, you still got to come together. I mean,
I got one for you.
Okay.
Baptism. You can't baptize over Wi-Fi. Okay, you could go with, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
There is this sense in the New Testament, there's this desire, what is it? We memorized 2 John, and I think it's 2 John, I don't have it memorized still, where it says, I write unto you with, did he say pen and ink, but I desire to come to you? Remember I said he wasn't
oh man, I can't
he's not a texter or something?
Is that 3 John, 1 John?
How many things, does he have? 2 John 12. How many things to write unto you? These are protected glasses, not reading glasses. I'm just kidding, they're reading glasses. How many things to write unto you I would not with paper and ink, but I trust to come to you, and speak face to face, that our joy may be full. This says in the scripture, face to face. Why? So that their joy may be full. So I think that would exclude, even if he had understood Wi-Fi, there's something about being face to face, right? That's in 2 John. There's other places, Paul, I mentioned Colossians 2:5, where Paul expressed an understanding that, look, I'm with you in spirit, but I desire to be with you in person. So you would agree that the Christian life church, the assembly, the gathering, is when the building's on fire, Wi-Fi is okay, but once it's put out, you're supposed to be together.
Get back together.
Okay, all right. So that's I just wanted to get that set. So there is this idea of, well, we could do church this way forever. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't. That's not how God set up the church. That's not that's just not. It's just implied all throughout the scriptures. When you come together, Paul says, at the first day of the week. You have 1 Timothy 3:15. Let me tell you how to conduct yourself in the house of God. So it's a place, it's a location. The word church, though, we know it doesn't mean building. I think that but it includes the word maybe a location, maybe not building. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. In Acts, when it says, as many of them, it says the assembly, but as many as were baptized, they were added to 1,000 souls were added to the church daily. All right, so it's not talking about being thrown into a building, 1,000 people, right? So the word church means more than in a building or more than in a location, but it includes some aspect of a centrality, a group of people getting together. So church, the way God's designed it, is not meant to be lived in separation. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, the building's on fire, but once it's put out, we need to come back together. Now everyone knows that. Everyone understands that, right? Okay. Now it comes down to the question of, you have to balance what's the risk and the risk. You'd have to balance risk. And it's a tough one to consider, because you have to make a consideration on, this is what frightens me about all this. If we can go 6 months, why couldn't we go a year? You know what I mean? And why couldn't we go 2 years? Maybe, I'm not sure that.
It would be odd if this season was a years long.
You're probably right. Again, I think in extremes sometimes, and that's wrong to do so. But it helps me, in some sense, it helps me categorize things and make sure that I'm not missing something. And so, you're right. So, I mean, this is not going to go on for a year. But if they said it needed to go, what would be some of the questions that I would be thinking out a year is, why haven't we gotten a vaccine yet?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, 18 months max.
Is that what they said?
A year, 12 to 18 months is what they said.
Okay.
Of course, who knows?
Oh, well,
maybe tomorrow, maybe 20 months. I don't know, but.
Well, not even just, or why I haven't some medications or produce some more medications that.
Sure.
But not just church. We also think people not working, people out of work. If this can't go along very long for our economy, right? I mean,
right.
It's going to. So I think that it wouldn't just be people going to church that would be concerned or begin to uprise or fight the power or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, as a church, this can't be something that. What did I say? I said it becomes a norm, right? Wi-Fi can't replace being in person, right?
And maybe now that all of this has gone about, we've found some new ways to minister or to expand ministry, which is great. We can continue, but like you said, it's not to replace the gathering.
So let's talk about some of the benefits of this right now. Then, like you said, we found some new different ways to minister. Here's something else I think that has been made known to me is how much I miss church. I know that sounds bad. Like, well, didn't you already know that? Yeah. Well, no, you don't know things until
you appreciate it more.
You appreciate it more. I do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate church. And the church in the sense that I'm talking about, the gathering, the assembly, seeing people. I'm going to miss shaking hands if
that's the new norm.
we can't shake hands anymore.
Yeah.
I'll be violating
Fist
that. I hope it's not like a $25 fine or whatever every time. But I miss church. I miss the body of Christ. I miss our flock.
Yeah.
And so the absence is making my heart grow fonder. Yeah. But we don't want absence to make the heart wander away.
True.
So that's one good thing. The other good thing is we've got faster internet now.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
yes.
So it's causing us it's giving us a chance to ramp up some of the things that we needed to ramp up.
Yeah.
And
maybe make a YouTube channel I've been trying to make for forever.
Or connect somehow Facebook to you. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. We're having our technology. Felix has been helping us out with that. Thank you, Felix. Updating many of our the abilities to record videos, stream live services. We've had the last 2 Sundays. I think that they've come off without a hitch, right? It's not. I haven't seen anybody commenting like it's cutting out or anything, right? Okay. So that's been fixed. So there are some benefits to this. I just think we need to be. What did I say in the staff meeting? We should comply with complaints, right? I don't know if that's even biblical. We're not supposed to complain. Well, Paul complained a couple of times. So
righteous complaint.
Yeah, right. What's that?
Righteous complaint.
Righteous complaint. I'm complying, but I'm complaining, and we need to hurry up. Into that. So you said that I think you said that if it goes on for 3 months, you're going to start breaking the law. I'm just kidding. You didn't say that.
Whoa.
What was your
Facebook police? I did not say that.
What was your? You said in 6 months you'd start asking some serious questions.
Yeah, if the condition is the same, if I don't want to ever downplay anything, but like we've said, if people have been going to HEB and whatever for 6 months or whatever, then of course we'll take precautions still, but I could still see, opening up. Hey guys, if you want to gather together, we might sit all over the place and be super spread out, but we can still be together.
Yeah, I like I was saying earlier. You mentioned it first. You brought it up. First person that really pointed it out to me was liquor stores.
Oh yeah.
Why is it okay to have liquor stores open? Again, we're not here to argue whether or not they're essential. My point is to say, if they're essential, then certainly church should be essential. And thank God in Texas.
Right, yeah.
The governor said that that was one of the things he said was, church is not a social gathering.
Yeah.
Did you read that?
Yeah,
I was like, this guy's right on.
You understand?
At least it shouldn't be.
Right, it shouldn't be that social club. Yeah, you guys are just going to hang out and gossip and
exactly.
Whatever.
So when he said that, that's another good thing. Is it's purifying really the point of church. It's not just social gathering. It's different. It's and that's what he said. So, but before we knew that's what he was saying, we were thinking that we couldn't have church, but liquor stores were open. Now you may say, well, there's not 10 people in a liquor store. I drove by Liquid Town, which, by the way, doesn't sell water. Okay, that's what do you call that? That's
probably sell some orange juice or something.
They don't. Well, they may sell orange juice, but they don't sell just any old liquid. It's certain liquids. And it looked like it was, at least 5. It could have been 10 people, but in a small confinement. Again, I'm not saying it shouldn't be open. That's somebody else's own business. But if the liquor store's open, certainly church should be. Thank God it is in Texas. I just think, Jacob, how when they say things are essential and non-essential. What does essential mean?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think it means?
Not
looking at the Christian answer. Just what does essential mean?
No, yeah, essential to keep, number one, food and water. Make sure those things are going. The protective. You got fire department, police. Stuff like that. I think are essential to kind of keep some order, keep everyone alive.
Yeah.
And maybe I guess, and this is maybe even where some of the differences between counties or states have labeled essential, different economic businesses or factors that play into. Because if those things were to shut down, then
Okay. Well, it's kind of like I see a similarity between what Jesus said, sort of, when he said, "Man shall not live by bread alone." Right? Satan was tempting him, but he's like, "Look, essential is more than what you're trying to claim is essential," and that's true, in the sense that we see that being played out. Things that we wouldn't think essential, people are, and for us, church is essential. The gathering of God's people is essential. But essential, the way that I first understood it, meant to sustain life, right? That's what I was thinking at first, and then I started realizing that it doesn't just mean that. At first, the gyms were open, and the gyms were closed. Okay.
Go exercise outside. Yeah, that's basically what they said.
But you know what? I was surprised driving by. I don't know if you may pass by Planet Fitness, but I'll pass by. I don't go there. I pass by there. Freedom Fitness. It was packed until that last until the county order came. It was packed all the time. So people were essential to them was getting a workout, which is probably a place where it's easy to catch the virus. I don't know. I'm just saying that.
They got a little squirt bottle.
They do have squirt bottles. Maybe we need to. You know what? Instead of tissue boxes, hand sanitizer.
That's what H-E-B and Walmart doing, spraying down all the carts.
You know what? I went to Walmart and
we had no carts at Walmart today. They're all.
They did. Well, I got a cart earlier, and I went to get a cloth, whatever, tissue from the lady. She goes, "They're already been sanitized." So you're right. They're like sanitizing them.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, why have they not been doing that before? But did you see anybody wearing a mask?
Oh, I saw. Well, when I walked in, there was like 5 or 6 people wearing masks. But as you go through the store, it's not as crazy as that. But there's a lot. There's a lot of people wearing them still.
I saw a dude wearing a bandana or a face shield, essentially, not a mask. Yeah. Which makes me think it's a great time to be a pirate or a robber or something. Right? Just walk in with a.
Hey, no one will suspect you.
Right, I'm social distancing. So, one more thing. Jesus said, "When 2 or more gathered." Paul says, when you come together, there's implied throughout the New Testament that the church, while not a building, it has to mean a location, because church is about getting together and gathering together. Now, as we mentioned at the beginning, it's not sinful for us to comply with this right now. We're trying to wait ourselves. This is brand new. It's never happened.
Sure, yeah.
And the church is on fire, in essence. So we don't go in there, because we're not going to tempt the Lord our God, jump off the building. Right now, we're waiting to see what's going to happen when it's put out, or when we consider. That's the thing. Yeah. When we consider the fire's not burning anymore, right? Yeah. And so when's that going to be? I can't say for certain, but it can't go on forever. Right. Church is about fellowshipping in the Holy Spirit, being face to face, and lifting up the name of Jesus. We can't. Here's another thing too. I mentioned it. I was just about to close it and summarize it, but I have something else. Here at the church, when we're still here, people come up to, they need help.
Right.
We just saw it. Yeah. So people show up here needing money, needing food. Recently, people needing stuff.
Anything.
Yeah. Right. So this is another reason why church is a location is people that they know where to go to get help. Right. And so if it was no location, if we were all via the internet, they wouldn't have that. So that seems like common sense. And again, I'm not trying to, make an issue bigger than it is. Something inside me, I know it's true for you and everyone else, but not having like in-person church, it's not comfortable for me, and that's okay, because the church is on fire, but it's going to be put out soon, and we'll be able to come back.
And one thing I get encouraged to is thinking underground churches, other places I've dealt with, they're like, well, it's not that bad. Like we've dealt with, similar circumstances, a lot of, whether that's being off alone for long periods of time or not. But,
meeting in smaller groups.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's an encouraging thing for me. Props to them for being able to do that.
Listen, now I feel bad. I'm not. Like I said, I'm not complaining. I miss people and I miss having church. I think that's a good sentiment. Yeah. If it's not like I'm not claiming that we're persecuted or anything. Nah. I want us to consider those things. What is church? Church is a definition that includes many things, One of those is also a location because you have to gather together. But it's not just the location, because church goes on after we go home, and
Right.
that's caring for each other, looking out for one another. And so, before we conclude, let me just say, you have some videos, right? That,
Oh, yes. So we have a YouTube channel. It is hard to find, but we're going to post a link to it.
what's it called?
Cal Allen Baptist Students on YouTube. I just started, since all the kids are just hanging around at home, I figured, when I do like some daily devotionals, I'll post them on YouTube, some random videos like that. One of the videos, my dog is interviewing my sister-in-law, who was a missionary in Ghana for 16 months.
How does it talk?
You'll have to watch it.
Okay.
It's pretty goofy. Yeah.
Are you doing the?
I'm doing the. Well, he's not a talking dog, so someone had to do it. But
I
yeah,
love you.
he's it's interesting, some
See
of those
that one.
videos. But yeah, so you're welcome to watch them yourself. Share it with your kids. Watch it with your kids. We don't take ourselves too seriously. But yeah, so
Who does the voice of the dogs?
I do the
Oh,
voice.
cool. I didn't see that. Watch that.
I'm the only guy in the house right now, so.
You are? That's true. I
Yeah.
forgot. Download the Echo app for prayer. And tomorrow I'll be making a video regarding Sunday service. As I mentioned previous video, an exciting announcement. It's going to be really cool. You'll want to watch it again and come worship with us via the internet. But as John said, I would that I would see you face to face. 2 John 12. Having many things to write unto you, I would not with paper and ink, I would not with Wi-Fi, but I trust to come to you and speak face to face. Why? That our joy may be full. That's my prayer, Jacob's prayer. Adios. Thank you so much.